Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JZ Courtside, coming at y'all today on Tuesday, January 20th. And oh my, do we have a fun show packed in for y'all today. We obviously had some incredible games last night. We had a lot of drama, a lot of storylines, a lot of teams winning games that they said that they weren't supposed to. We have a lot of fun stuff planned for y'all today. A lot of fun stuff and some sad stuff. Cue the tiny violin. I hope everybody's having a great, phenomenal start to their Cheeky Tuesday. In today's episode, we are going to be breaking down a recent injury that's somewhat going to shake up the Western Conference. And then some big games that I do want to cover last night, along with some storylines, some very important storylines that I feel as though people just aren't really talking about. Okay. And I know everybody, I gotta acknowledge this as soon as the show starts. I know people are going to think that I'm over here. I'm going to start the show with the Pistons. I'm going to talk about the Pistons. I'm going to talk nonstop about the Pistons, but that's not the kind of show that we run around here, y'all. This is turning into a fully unbiased podcast, and I want it to remain that. This is our first season we're ever covering live NBA, right? And I want to make sure that I improve every day, every week, every month, every season, because I want to look back 10 years from now, say, man, do y'all remember the first season we did this? Do y'all remember that? Isn't that crazy, right? When Cade Cunningham has led the Pistons to 10 championships straight. Now, we're also going to do fact or cap at the end of this podcast. We're going to go talk about the storylines, and after that, we're going to be doing fact or cap. So, of course, you guys know, everybody in the live crew, be sure to participate. Be sure to stick around until the end, because the fact or cap have some very interesting storylines that I believe could be fact or cap. Good enough to at least have the debate with you guys. That's the whole point. It's to bring up trending storylines and have a debate, okay? So, before we get into it, y'all, podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. TikTok stream, be sure to keep double tapping that screen up. Spam that like button. Drop a follow. YouTube, be sure to drop a like and subscribe as well. It really helps a lot. Now, you guys probably think I'm going to talk about one of the games from last night, especially the Pistons, but I'm not. We are going to start today's episode with none other than Golden State's star, Jimmy Butler, exits the game in the third quarter with a torn ACL. Now, I talked about this a little bit before we started the podcast, and I do want to share this quite a bit, right? As soon as I saw him go down, while my fiance was paying attention to her family that was courtside at the game, I was paying attention to the game itself, and Jimmy Butler went down screaming, holding his knee, and I immediately looked over to Artie, my fiance, and said, yeah, that's an ACL. That's an ACL. And when they cut to commercial, they left the mics on of the game, and you could hear what's going on in the court because they left the mics on. And while they left the mics on, you can hear Jimmy screaming like in agony. I don't recommend anybody going out and finding that clip because it's really sad. There was a funny part though, and it somewhat made me think that Jimmy was okay because Buddy Hield came up to Jimmy and said, come on, Jimmy, get up, man. We need you. And Jimmy said, shut your bitch ass up. Ah, my knee. Jokingly, and he was laughing. You can hear him laughing over the hot mic. So I'm thinking, oh, he's fine. And now the crowd is cheering, woo, yeah. So I'm thinking, oh, he's up. He's walking it off. It wasn't an ACL. I'm wrong. And then they cut back onto the TV, and he's being helped off with no weight on his leg off the court. And I was like, oh. And Jimmy's just smiling. Jimmy is just smiling. I'm sure if you want to find the clip, I have seen the clip already on Twitter if you guys do want to find it. And yeah, I was right. It was an ACL. Anybody that is just holding their knee like that, you guys remember, and I'm sure it replays in everybody's heads. If you're as old as I am, I'm 27. Holding on to his knee and down. I don't need to tell you who that was. That commentary for that one player. I don't need to tell you who that was, but that's all I think of whenever somebody grabs their knee. And that was Derrick Rose's teammate and Jimmy Butler last night. I'm I knew it was an ACL immediately, and I feel for the Warriors. I feel for Steph Curry. And I somewhat want to talk about that game because they did win by 23, I think. And it was either 22 or 23. And sorry, Bulls fans I just brought back very bad wounds. I apologize. And all I could think was, damn, that's it. Warriors have won. And something that people are forgetting right now is the Warriors have won 12 of their last 16 games. 12 of their last 16 games they've won. They were on a 4-game winning streak. And it was all led by, can I be honest? In the games that Steph Curry was getting 7 points, 9 points, 10 points, Jimmy was carrying them, scoring 28, scoring 30. Jimmy was really doing it. In fact, I didn't know how good Jimmy's stats were until I looked at it. 20 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals, 31 minutes. He's shooting 52% from the field and 38% from 3. That's Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is arguably having his best all-around season, and it gets ended by an ACL injury. Now, in my rec league a few weeks ago, I thought I had torn my ACL. I thought I at least sprained my ACL, and I genuinely believe it was a sprain because I can get up. I just couldn't play on it anymore. And then I stretched it every day, and now I'm back and playing. So it was obviously a sprain. I think I would know if I tear it, judging by all the reactions of the players who end up actually tearing it. I want to give a special shout out to Pods. He has been playing really well over the stretch of wins. And the thing about Jimmy Butler and the Golden State Warriors is people are asking me right now on the TikTok, is it time to tear it down? Is it time to blow it up? And I'm gonna talk about that right now. Okay, so a lot of people don't know this, but the Golden State Warriors have been doing something for the last 2 years, and they've been basically planning all of their contracts around one man, and his name is Steph Curry. They've been planning all their contracts to expire the same offseason that Curry's expires because the owners don't want to offer more than they have to. They've made their money. Steph Curry has made their franchise into a big market now. They don't really care about what happens now with Curry. They care about what happens after Curry. So basically, they have lined up every single contract. Kuminga, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green, every contract they have on the books other than rookies end in 2027. So when people are telling me blow it up, they're not blowing anything up, y'all. They're not blowing anything up. Now, with Jimmy going down, that really sucks. That sucks for Curry. That sucks for the team. That sucks for the fans. Because argue all you want. The Warriors weren't going to win it all. That's what we said in 2022. And in the last 16 games, this team has looked like a championship caliber team. And if you say no, then you're wrong. You haven't been watching the games. You've only been looking at the stat sheet. So now it begs the question, what could the Warriors do with Jimmy Butler's contract still on the books all through next season? They owe him $56 million next year. I think it's $56 million. They are obligated to give him that much money next year. And what can they do now with that contract on the books? Pretty much nothing, because you're not going to trade Jimmy. That's not going to happen. They're not going to do that. Jimmy's going to spend the rest of the season rehabbing. He's going to be getting paid $50 million. He's going to spend most of next season rehabbing, and he's going to be paid $55 million. I see a lot of people in the TikTok asking questions about different teams, Pistons, Knicks, all these teams. Guys, we'll be getting to there, okay? So if you don't want to miss the show, be sure to come into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. Right now, we're talking about the Warriors. So I see people asking me about Kuminga, right? Kuminga, what's going on? Let's see what's happening. Well, they asked Steve Kerr after the game, does this mean Kuminga is going to be playing? And his response was, sure. You guys should watch this interview because it's pathetic. Sure. And then they said, has he been staying conditioned? Has he still been getting shots up? And he says, yep. Doesn't want to talk about Kuminga. He does not want to mention. He does not want to respond. He doesn't even want to bother talking about Jonathan Kuminga. Fuck playing him. He doesn't even want to talk about him. And people are telling me in the TikTok right now, and this proves that they have not been watching basketball, that Jimmy Butler has fallen off since Miami. This is arguably the best season that Jimmy Butler has ever had in his entire career. So anybody saying that he's fallen off, this is his best regular season he's had, arguably, in years. In years. It's been like 3-4 years since he's had a season like this. All around, this is arguably Jimmy Butler's one of his best regular seasons in the NBA. 20 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 5 assists, 1.5 steals. He's shooting 52% from the field and 38% from the three-point line. This is why I don't listen or argue with anybody in the TikTok stream. There's 140 of y'all over there. If you guys genuinely want to talk basketball and you want to talk with people who know basketball, not people in the TikTok, be sure to do yourself a favor and come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. We're waiting for y'all. I'm going to move on from the Warriors talks here in a bit, but people are asking me about Michael Porter Jr. as well. Do you think the Warriors are still going to target MPJ? I genuinely don't think so. I don't think they're going to go for MPJ. In fact, I'm going to say something that makes me uncomfortable. And it's probably going to make a lot of Warriors fans uncomfortable as well. Steph Curry's ending of his NBA career is going to look a lot like Kobe Bryant's and Dirk Nowitzki's. They're not going to go for MPJ because MPJ isn't going to be the final piece that wins them the championship. It really sucks, but this is going to be the end of Steph Curry's career. He's not going to go out with one more swing. He's not going to go out with one more title. Here's my issue. The Warriors now are basically locked into being a play-in team. They're locked in it. People are saying cap on TikTok. I genuinely don't care what TikTok has to say. If you guys want to actually talk real hoops, come to the Twitch stream. The Warriors right now are the 8th seed, and they're on a hot streak. They're still 3 games ahead of the Blazers, so I don't think they're going to drop a whole lot, but they're a play-in team from here on out. Because here's the thing, they're a game and a half behind the 7th and 6th seed behind the Lakers and Suns. They're not better than the Lakers or the Suns at this point in time. They're not. They're not. And people are going to deny that. People are going to get upset with what I'm saying, but they're not better than those teams. Listen, y'all know my opinion about the Lakers. They're bad. Y'all know my opinion about the threes just jacking up in Phoenix. Unfortunately, this is going, I'm getting really worried. I'm getting really worried because here I am talking about the loss of Jimmy Butler. And it somewhat reminds me of last year when Kyrie Irving went down for the Dallas Mavericks. When Luka Doncic got traded and all of that weight went on Kyrie Irving. And since Kyrie Irving was bearing that load, he ended up getting hurt. I hope Steph Curry doesn't really do anything. I hope he can remain healthy for the remainder of his career. But at this point, losing Jimmy Butler, arguably your best, not even arguably, Jimmy Butler is their best all-around player on their team right now. And I mean that. I think, all honesty, and people might get upset by me saying this, Steph Curry going down would have meant less, not with an ACL, of course, than Jimmy Butler going down. This guy grabs you rebounds. This guy sets up your offense. When Curry's off the floor, the reason why they actually are still plus with Jimmy Butler on the court is because of Jimmy Butler. Without Steph Curry on the floor, is because of Jimmy Butler. He is shooting 52% from the field and 38% from 3. And people are all getting really upset with me in the TikTok. And I'm not quite sure why. Because over this stretch of games in particular, I will talk about this stretch in particular with the Golden State Warriors, right? So the night before against the Hornets, Steph Curry, he went for 14 points. And, was Jimmy Butler out that game? Okay, I guess Jimmy Butler was out that game. Yeah, that's right. He was sick. He was probable for last night's game, and he ended up playing. So here you have Jimmy Butler going for 32 and Steph Curry going for 27, okay? And the reason why Steph Curry's allowed to have these bad games is because he has Jimmy Butler as a teammate. Steph Curry, 7 points. Jimmy Butler, 16, 6, and 5, plus 17, 5 for 7 on the field. The efficiency is what makes Jimmy Butler so damn good. Jimmy Butler, 15 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, plus 20, 6 for 10. Steph Curry, 27. So, of course, no matter the scoring, as far as an all-around player that brings everything on the court, Jimmy does everything, and Curry's their offense. So don't get it misconstrued. So when I say that Jimmy Butler is their most valuable player on this team, I genuinely mean that. This is arguably his best season of his career. And without Jimmy, this is a play-in team. This is a first-round exit. It's really unfortunate. If they even make it out of the play-in, it's not going to look good, man. It's not going to look good. It's not going to look good. I want to give a special shout out to Will Zhao, who left the TikTok stream and came through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate it, bro. Make sure to join the Discord as well. He said, Shams say that DeRozan can be a possibility. What do you think? I think DeRozan would help a lot on the offensive load. Unfortunately, what Jimmy Butler gives you on both sides of the court, as well as below the three-point line, is not going to be easily replaceable. The thing about DeMar DeRozan is he will be good offensively, but DeMar's contract is still sizable to the point where it might go near the second apron. The owners don't want to go in the second apron. Not for this team. Not for this team at all. People are, again, on the TikTok. This is why I don't really acknowledge the TikTok. They said, this is not even close to Jimmy's best season. You don't know ball. As far as regular seasons go, this is arguably one of Jimmy Butler's best seasons in how many years? You got to go back. How many years? You have to go back 4 years. So as I said, this is arguably his best season. If it's his best in 4 years, you can say that. So TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing on over to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Let's go ahead and move on. I really hope Jimmy can recover well and play more in the NBA. I love watching him play. This unfortunately sunk the ship for the Golden State Warriors. It's very, very unfortunate. It's extremely, extremely, extremely unfortunate. Hopefully Kuminga can get some burn. We'll see what ends up happening in Golden State, y'all. It's crazy. This is genuinely his most efficient season in his career. It's genuinely upsetting. 36 years old, ACL injury. It's tough, man. It's tough. And a lot of mileage as well. A lot of mileage. Let's go ahead and talk about our next topic, ladies and gents. Another bad thing that's happening around the NBA. Yo, Rez, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch, bro. I genuinely appreciate it. Thank you. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and joining the actual community that cares and knows about ball. Let's go ahead and talk about the Knicks losing their 4th game straight, falling to the Dallas Mavericks, the hospital Dallas Mavericks, 114-97. Now, you guys knew this was coming. Everyone knew this was coming, right? The New York Knicks are 2-9 in their last 11 games. 2-9 in their last 11 games, bro. This is not good. This is not good. I have a lot of Knicks fans in here, and this is not good. I want to read Rez's comment just before I move on to this topic, just because he's new in the community. He's new in the Twitch stream. Do you think it's completely over for the Warriors, or do you think there's still a chance for a trade to make things possible? No. There's not a player that they can get that would fit their books and still help them. MPJ could help them, but help them what? Make the playoffs? Unfortunately, that's not what the owners are trying to do. The owners were trying to line up contracts with Steph Curry's, and while MPJ's matches somewhat, no, unfortunately not. Rez, make sure you join the Discord, my man. If you're a Warriors fan, we don't have any Warriors fans in our Discord, so be sure to join up, all right? And also, shout out to Grim Knight for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. I genuinely appreciate it very, very much, bro. I really, really, really do appreciate it. Now, guys, I do want to reiterate this, okay? I want to reiterate this. The New York Knicks have not been doing too hot. They've not been doing too hot. In fact, they've been doing so unhot that they are 2-9 in their last 11 games. Now, some of you guys might be thinking, like, Jay-Z, like, look, you talked about this. You've talked about this a lot, right? Is there any point in talking about this? I think I got to talk about it some more, okay? Because I learned a lot of things last night that I didn't know previously, okay? First and foremost, I said that the New York Knicks over the last 11 games have the worst defensive rating in the NBA. The second worst defensive rating in the NBA to the Jazz. In fact, I was wrong. That streak stretches. It's not 11 games. It's 18 games. So for everybody who's been telling me it's just a bad stretch, every team has those throughout the year. It's not just a bad stretch. This is 18 games, ladies and gentlemen. This is a month and a half of the regular season. This is not a skid. This is not a streak in your underwear that can easily be resolved by throwing into the washing machine. This is how they've been playing for a month and a half now. Irie, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. Shout out to everybody leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. This is not that. In fact, it goes beyond that. I'm going to read you guys a couple tweets, okay? I'm going to read you guys a couple tweets, and then we're going to talk about this team. This Knicks account said traded for OG Anunoby, traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges, traded for Cat. Years of punting on the draft could have upgraded multiple positions. The more I think about it, when the entire NBA has been ultra-focused on pace and space, youth and athleticism, the Knicks' focus was just to beat Boston. The coaches have had their issues for sure, but I think more of the focus has to go to the front office. And now it's time for me to talk about this because I've talked about it plenty. And nobody believed me when I said this a month ago. When the Knicks lost a couple games, I pointed out their flaws. And Knicks fans, of course, you don't want to hear me. And I understand that. But you have to put your biases to the side, as I do with my Pistons. You have to put your biases to the sides because it was right there in front of you all along. Why do the Lakers suck? Who beats the Lakers? Every athletic and fast team. And now TikTok again is saying, shut the fuck up. Everyone goes through slumps. A slump is not a month and a half of the NBA. This has been 18 games. That is a quarter of the season. That is not a slump. TikTok, genuinely, bro. Do some of y'all have brain damage? I gotta ask. TikTok, if you guys are offended as well by some of the idiocracy over there, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. Okay? The link is in my bio. Get away from idiots like that over there and swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link in my bio. 18 games. The last 18 games, the New York Knicks have had the second worst defensive rating in the entire league. In the entire NBA, they have had the second worst defense in the NBA. This is not a slump, ladies and gentlemen. A slump is a week. A slump is 2 weeks. Hell, if I'm really being generous, a slump is 3 weeks. Guys, this has been a month and a half. That is not a slump. That is an identity. That is an identity crisis. While the entire league has been focused on building around the draft, building around young players, taking the risk on young players who haven't had a chance to thrive, the New York Knicks were building through free agency and trading. That is not how you build a team in today's modern NBA. When your average age and your contract is the second highest in the NBA right now, the only team higher than you is the Cleveland Cavaliers, who are in the second apron right now. People are wondering who the worst defensive rating for a month and a half is. That's the Utah Jazz. The New York Knicks are second. So think about it that way. The Knicks have a worse defense than the Lakers. The Pistons scored 85 points on the Lakers in the paint. And you're telling me the Knicks have a worse defense than that? So the blueprint has been shown for years now. You need an athletic team. You need to build your team through young players, not build your team through trades, through risks. Now, I have more tweets I have to read. Ari from Manhattan said, I'm officially putting Leon Rose on the hot seat. Leon Rose is the GM for the New York Knicks. Mike Brown didn't trade 5 picks and swap, which is looking more and more likely to be another pick for an average NBA starter, nor did he cap us out and trade for Cat's contract. Leon Rose had a clean cap, one of the highest amounts of picks in the NBA, and is on the second coach, and the team is in jeopardy of falling into the play-in now. And that's not a joke, ladies and gents. I assure you, that is not a joke. The New York Knicks right now are the 3rd seed. They are only a game and a half outside of the play-in. 1 game and a half outside the play-in. They are 7 games behind the Pistons in the 1st seed. This is not a slump. They are a game and a half out of the play-in and 7 games away from the 1st seed. They are officially as close to the 2nd seed as they are to the 7th seed. In no world should Mike Brown, who just got here 5 months ago, be ahead of Leon Rose on the chopping block. The Knicks Muse deleted their tweets. It all started from right here. He said, on your left at Detroit Pistons. And they were one game behind the Pistons. They were 23-9, ladies and gentlemen. 23-9. This is the same team now that has fallen to 25-18. He since then deleted that tweet. The Knicks are 29th in the NBA in points allowed per possession since December 16th. This is not a short stretch. It's 18 games of evidence that they are nowhere near even mediocre right now. And my final tweet I'd like to read from the New York Knicks. We're going to end the Knicks talk with this. Scapegoated Julius Randle. Scapegoated RJ Barrett. Scapegoated Emmanuel Quickley. Scapegoated Tom Thibodeau. Scapegoating Mike Brown. Scapegoating Mikal Bridges. Scapegoating Karl Anthony Towns. When will they realize it's Jalen Brunson? And I've been talking about this, and I think now it's still very early in the season. The New York Knicks could turn it around. But I think now's the time to say, when your leader of the team, both leaders of the team, do not play defense, everyone follows that trend. So I'm not saying, listen, without Brunson, they wouldn't have 20 wins. Okay? Without Brunson, they're not having 20 wins. But when your star player, both your star players, the guy that's literally making $60 million is not playing defense whatsoever, the team follows that. Brunson deserves criticism. He does not deserve all the criticism. But as the captain of your team, you need to hold your team accountable. The crowd was booing. The home crowd was booing the Knicks. And here's the thing. New York Knicks fans right now, they're starting to turn on Brunson. They're starting to. I'm seeing all these tweets talking about Brunson. I don't want to share all of them because some of them are egregious, and I don't agree with them. People are looking at Karl Anthony Towns because he's having his worst efficiency season of his career right now. But I'd like to point out somebody that a lot of people are not talking about. In fact, he has somewhat got lucky because nobody's talking about him right now. OG Anunoby, right? Not just his defense has been ass this year, but did you know over his last 4 games, he is 3 for 21 from the 3-point line? That is not a joke. Those are Asar Thompson numbers. My apologies. He is 3 for 21 from the 3-point line over his last 4 games. Guys, I need you to hear me one more time. I'm going to say it. OG Anunoby, who is being paid $50 million, is 3 for 21 in his last 4 NBA games. Their contracts are way too big to be playing this ass. They have not been focusing on OG. He's got a $212 million contract. $212 million contract. Mikal Bridges, I'm not getting on you, bro. I've gotten on you enough. Holy moly. If I got to see this short catch and 10-foot fadeaway, bro, you're 10 feet from the hoop. Why are you fading away from contact every time? I'm going to read this comment from Double X in the Twitch stream. Do you think OG is just in a slump? He's hurt. OG is hurt. I remember you saying earlier in the season that every team wants an OG Anunoby. Yes. Every single team wants OG Anunoby. The OG Anunoby of last season. OG this year has not looked like OG. There's no, like, OG is so good. I'm just going to say he's got to be hurt. He's got to be hurt. There's no way he has regressed this much. Y'all, this franchise traded 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. 5. You traded Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle for Karl Anthony Towns. Karl had a good game last night, stat sheet-wise. But did y'all see the lack of effort? I have to move on. But the last thing I'm going to show about the New York Knicks is this. Leon Rose, since the OG Anunoby trade, which, by the way, what's his name? Masai Ujiri, the GM for the Raptors, honestly did, the former GM for the Raptors, did the Knicks a favor by giving them OG. These are all the things that Leon Rose has did for the Knicks since OG. He traded Quentin Grimes and 2 seconds to Detroit for Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec Burks. Traded Bojan and 5 first-round picks for Mikal Bridges. Drafted, how do you say his name? I forgot how to say his name. At number 25. Traded 4 second-round picks for Tyler Kolek. Traded Randall, DiVincenzo, and a 17th pick for Karl Anthony Towns. Signed Clarkson and Yabusele and hired Mike Brown. And here's the unfortunate part. We're not done talking about the Knicks. In fact, I'm going to be talking about them again later for our segment called Factor Cap. And if you guys are excited about that, be sure to stick around. Be sure to drop some likes on the stream. I appreciate y'all very, very much. I don't blame you, Cole. Shout out to Cole, my boy Cole, for leaving the TikTok stream and swinging on into the Twitch stream. Guys, be sure to join the Discord as well. !Discord in the Twitch chat, guys. TikTok, again, if you guys are enjoying the stream, be sure to swing right on into the Twitch stream. We'd love to have y'all swing in. Honestly, the Twitch stream is so much better than the TikTok. I'm waiting for you guys to come on in. Guys, let's move on to my favorite game from last night. The Detroit Pistons suffocate the Boston Celtics defensively and win the season series 3-1. They won 104-103. Jaylen Brown had an opportunity to seal the game for the game winner, and he missed it. It was a good shot. Tobias Harris defended it well, and he ended up losing. Now, my prime takeaways from this game is that Jaylen Brown's an incredible player. He's arguably the best two-way player in the NBA. He's great. He's great. Jaylen Brown was incredible last night. And while he complains running to the hoop, it's quite unfortunate that he has to scream, "Hey! Yay!" every time he touches somebody in the paint. The refs award it. So, hey, keep doing it if it works. Jaylen Brown was incredible. Now, I see a lot of discourse on Twitter talking about Derek White, talking about Anthony Simons, and talking about Jason Tatum, who's resuming all physical activities right now. I don't want to hear, and if we had Tatum, we want. Shut up, bro. Shut up. We're more than halfway into the season. Okay, you're gonna get Tatum back. Shut up. I don't want to hear this anymore. If we had Tatum, listen. If I had a 10-inch dick, right? We can go about this every which way. Every which way. We can talk about these if, ands, or buts. I don't. And you don't have Tatum yet. Okay? So you guys lost last night. And yes, Tatum is hurt. He's coming back soon. Your savior's coming back. Okay? Tatum is not going to come back and average 23 points a game, just so everybody's clear. He's going to come back and average 14 a game, and he's going to be sitting in the corner. Okay? I'm sorry. Josh in the Twitch stream said, "You don't get this level of analysis on TV." You guys don't. So be sure to follow. Drop a follow on whatever platform you're watching on. And be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Yeah, you really don't. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Now, I know Derek White shot 1 for 11 last night, right? Anthony Simons shot 4 for 11. Here's the thing. You had a great game from Sam Hauser. You had the best game you're going to get with Jaylen Brown. So, yeah, if you have Tatum, it probably would have went different. But here's the thing. I see Celtics fans saying, "Oh, they're lucky Derek White didn't play well." Look, Derek White's tired. Bro needs to sit the next couple games out. Their schedule's not bad. They need to sit out. They need to sit him out. He's tired. He's exhausted. He's not used to being a number 2. And that's okay. Derek White, I'm not worried about Derek White. He's a great player. I'm really not worried about him. Now, I would like to say, I have seen 2 of the worst games ever in Cade's career in a row, other than the Pacers game. Cade Cunningham has had his 2 worst games of his entire NBA career. And I like seeing casuals on Twitter saying, "Least efficient player in the NBA. Why does nobody talk about how ass he is?" Listen, Cade Cunningham is hurt. It's pretty obvious he's hurt. They were talking about it on the commentary all last night. We've been talking about it in my Discord for a week. He's hurt. Cade is hurt. He hurt his wrist, and then last night he hurt his hip as well. I don't know if you guys have paid attention to Cade, but go watch some highlights back. He has this band, he has this brace on his wrist. Guys, if I ate an extra piece of chicken before my basketball game, And maybe I slept wrong. I'm shooting 0 for 11 that night. 0 for 11. This guy's wearing a brace on his shooting hand. Could you imagine? Bro, if I got 5 minutes, not enough sleep, I'm passing out on the floor. I'm giving you the ugliest 0 for 11 that you've ever seen. Cade is playing with a brace on his hand. He needs to sit out. Hopefully, they don't play him tomorrow in New Orleans. Obviously, Pelicans fans want that. But here's the thing. As bad as Cade was offensively, shooting-wise, my God, does it pay to have a star that does it on both ends. Knicks fans, Warriors fans, Hawks fans, I guess now Wizards fans, any fan of any team, I implore you to watch Cade Cunningham the way he plays, man. He had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 14 assists, and 0 turnovers. 0. Getting blitzed all game. Getting double teamed all game. 0 turnovers. And what's most important is 2 blocks, 2 crucial blocks, and a steal. Cade Cunningham, the way he defends is not normal. For a point guard, being a bigger point guard as well, the fact that he goes for blocks, the fact that he gets blocks, the fact that his defense, no matter how poorly he plays offensively, the fact that his defense makes up for it on the other end is incredible. It's something you don't see in your average day superstar. And yeah, I said it's superstar. He's a top 5 player in the NBA. Regardless of his inefficiency right now, he is hurt. He is playing through injury. Had that stupid All-NBA minimum game, 65 games played in the year to be eligible for All-NBA extensions, not existed, we could rest Cade. And here's the thing, and I'm going to say this again for the people in the back that still aren't paying attention. The Detroit Pistons have won 3 games in a row, one against the Indiana Pacers, which doesn't count, but the Suns in particular. Cade had his worst game of his career in that game, and he just followed it up with one of his worst games ever again. And yet the Pistons still managed to get it done. Why is that? It's because he doesn't give up those points on the offensive end. There's a funny meme that goes around in the NBA world that they say Luka will get you 40, but he'll give up 40. So what does it matter? Cade is not doing that. In fact, I want to show you the real in-depth stats of this game. The Celtics attempted 41 threes, right? They made 13 of them. I said if the Celtics hit 15 to 23s, it's over. They're not going to win this. Cade had more assists than the entire Boston Celtics team did. Cade had 14 assists. The Celtics as a team had 13 assists. That should not go unnoticed. The Pistons had 9 steals, 9 blocks. They only had 8 turnovers, half of which were from Karis LeVert, but we'll talk about him later. Points off turnovers, fast break points, points in the paint. The Pistons did their thing last night, man. Even though the refs weren't allowing them to play basketball, they were for a little bit of the game, but then they just started calling everything, right? I'd like to give a special shout out to a couple people in particular. Tobias Harris, without him last night, Pistons don't win. Tobias Harris, you did your thing, man. And this is why I love Tobias. He was going into the paint and bullying Derek White, Hugo, Jaylen Brown, whoever was guarding Tobias Harris last night, got that post work. They sat in the post, felt Tobias up, and got that hook shot over them every single time. Jalen Duren, 18 points, 9 rebounds, did his thing. Jalen Duren was a beast. Isaiah Stewart with a disgusting block that he does every single night. This needs to be talked about because Isaiah Stewart, if he is starting, is the best defender in the NBA as far as the paint goes. He leads the league in lowest percentage shot on him in the paint. Again, I got to say that again. He leads the league in the least efficient percentage in the paint. Are you kidding me? He is 6'7", ladies and gentlemen. He is an inch taller than our point guard. And yet he's rising up and blocking people like this. Isaiah Stewart, if he's starting over Tobias Harris, has real opportunities at being the defensive player of the year. That is not a joke. That is not an exaggeration. He deserves it. And something I am still confused about what JB Bickerstaff is doing. They're not playing Asar Thompson on Jaylen Brown. They were letting him work on Tobias Harris. They're letting him work on Duncan Robinson. I want to give a special shout out to Dunk, man. I want to give a special shout out to Duncan Robinson, bro. This is exactly why he was brought into Detroit. The Pistons, listen, he chases this ball. He chases this ball. For podcast listeners, Duncan Robinson saves the ball from going out of bounds, throws it into Cade, and sprints full speed again to the three-point line. Cade hits him and drills it in the corner. Pistons have never seen this type of movement from a shooting guard since Rip Hamilton. Rip Hamilton was the last guard to give them this non-stop movement on this end. Duncan, this is a crazy stat. Duncan has attempted his last 31 threes. His last 31. He has made 22 out of 31 threes, ladies and gentlemen. His last 31 threes, he's hit 22 of them. It's unbelievable. It's genuinely unbelievable. And yet, he's on the Pistons. It's crazy. It's crazy. And you know what? His defense has improved. The Celtics, earlier in the season, this is a month ago now, over a month ago, the last time we played the Celtics, they scored 75 points on Duncan Robinson himself. They only scored 18 on him this game. 18. Again, I got to repeat myself. They scored 78 points on Duncan Robinson alone in the last matchup. They only scored 18 on Duncan this game. His defense has automatically improved, and I'm not talking marginally. I'm talking Duncan Robinson's defense. It took him a couple months, but my Lord, am I comfortable with Duncan Robinson guarding Jaylen Brown? Not on the perimeter, but in the mid-range, I'm comfortable with it. You're not going to stop Jaylen Brown, but at least you can put up a good fight. And then I only have one last. I gotta give a special shout out to Jaden Ivey. I've been on his case for a while, but he hit 2 big threes in the fourth quarter. He scored 7 points of himself all in the fourth quarter. It brought the Pistons back into the game. Jaden, you don't look good, but you hit an important shots there, and then immediately follows up with turning the ball over. So, and then he got yanked. And that's been the story of Jaden Ivey this season. He does 2 good things, does 1 very bad thing, and JB Bickerstaff takes him out. He's on a very short leash. He's not on a minutes restriction anymore. He's just literally only playing 15 to 17 minutes a game. 15 to 17 minutes. That's all he gets. Because Karis LeVert, apparently, is the next coming of Jesus Christ. Karis LeVert. Careless pervert. Careless pervert. 17 minutes. And he got you a whopping 2 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 1 turnover, 4 fouls, and he shot 1 for 6 from the field and 0 for 4 from the 3-point line. You guys are probably thinking, Karis just had a bad game. No. Did Karis have sex with JB Bickerstaff's wife? Did Karis LeVert hold JB at gunpoint? Karis LeVert over his last 10 games is averaging 4.9 points a game. And I need you to hear me. He's shooting 34% from the field and 17% from 3. I need you guys to hear me. His last 10 games, he is averaging less than 5 points per game, 34% from the field, and 17% from 3. Karis LeVert is genuinely, and the backcourt of Karis LeVert and Jaden Ivey is arguably the worst in the NBA. The backcourt of Karis LeVert and Jaden Ivey is arguably the worst backcourt in the NBA. And I don't know why JB Bickerstaff continues to do it when you have 2 demons, Marcus Sasser and Dennis Jenkins, rotting on the bench. Why? Why? Until you solidify a backup lineup, this is not going to work. You need to trade Karis LeVert. You need to trade this man. What does he do? He is horrible. If you guys want a good laugh, go ahead and look up Karis LeVert on Twitter and sort by recent tweets. You will crack up. Pistons need to figure that out. But overall, it's a really good game, man. The Boston Celtics, they put up a really good fight. My Pistons have won 2 games now with Cade Cunningham being hurt and horrible. Hopefully they can sit Cade over in New Orleans, because the Pistons have 4 games in 6 nights. That's not a good stretch. 4 games in 6 nights. Now, I know a lot of people are watching on the TikTok stream, and I'm assuming that a lot of you guys are Pistons fans. Hoop Planet, Dizzy, all you guys, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. We would really, really love y'all over here in the Twitch. Be sure to swing right on into the Twitch. I'm from Metro Detroit, but I now live in North Carolina. So please, TikTok, now's the perfect time to leave the TikTok and come through to the Twitch stream. Again, that's JZ Uncut on Twitch, or click my profile picture, click the link in my bio, and come through and join a real community that knows hoops. Let's go ahead and talk quickly, lightning round, about all the other games from last night. Bucks almost choke against the Atlanta Hawks, but they got to win. The Hawks were led by 32 points. They really almost came back, and Giannis Antetokounmpo led the way with 21 points for the Bucks. Next up, we had the OKC beating the Cavs by 32 points. Yeah, that's right. They're missing Darius Garland, and they're going to be reevaluating him in 10 days. Okay. Yeah, they were led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander dropping 30, and the Cavs, bad loss. But the Cavs, losing Darius Garland is going to be very, very crucial to this team. That's going to be very bad. Okay. Clippers go ahead and make it back into the play-in. The Clippers are back in the play-in, guys. That's not a joke. They are in the play-in right now. After that horrendous start, they have won 6 games in a row, and they are 19-23. They beat the Wizards. Clippers are back, led by Harden, scoring 36 points. The Utah Jazz fall to the San Antonio Spurs. Wemby led the way with 33 points. The Philadelphia 76ers go ahead and move on to 23-18, beating the Indiana Pacers. Joel Embiid led the way with 30 points. The Phoenix Suns went ahead and beat the Brooklyn Nets 126-117. Phoenix Suns are moving up and 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 up. Free MPJ, please send him to the Pistons. The Miami Heat fall to the Golden State Warriors. And my God, was it an MVP peak Bam Adebayo performance last night, y'all? After winning Player of the Week, he goes on and scores 4 points, minus 20 from the field, 1 turnover, and he shot 1 for 13 from the field, 0 for 5 from deep, 14% true shooting. Bam Adebayo, this is peak form out of you, isn't it? You were back and now you're just out, just like that. You were back and now you're just out. They play the Kings tonight in a back-to-back situation. That should be fun. And yeah, that's all we have for the quick recaps of the night. Guys, I'd like to move on to our final segment of the show. We call this Factor Cap, okay? Young Tev, Hoop Planet, Joseph, I need you guys to come on into the Twitch stream. That's JZ Uncut. Come on through, y'all. Come on through. Let's go ahead and play some Fact or Cap. YouTube, you guys as well, man. Come through to the Twitch. We'd love to have y'all. Let's talk about it. I need your guys' help. I'm going to share you a trending topic, and I want you guys to let me know if it's a fact or if it's cap. Meaning, if it's a fact, you think it's true, and if it's cap, you think it's false, for my white people, okay? Oh, yeah, you know what? We also got to talk about all-star starters. We'll finish the show off with that, Mel. Thank you for reminding me. Let's talk about this. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think this is a fact or cap? The Curry era is officially over. I talked about this earlier, and based off of everything I said, I want you guys to come to your own conclusion. The Curry era is officially over. Curry will not be winning another championship as long as he's in Golden State. It's over. That's depressing. And everyone in the Twitch stream is saying fact. Everyone. Some people are saying it as well on the TikTok. Chris, Tev, Hoop, come to the Twitch, you goofballs. Yeah, everyone's saying fact. There's not a single person that's saying cap. So it looks like all the Warriors fans are gone because they were hot and heavy this morning. The Warriors fans came hot and heavy. Not one person said that's cap. Yeah, man, I got to say it again. Golden State is now missing 20 points per game. They're missing 6 rebounds and 5 assists per game now. I don't know where their offense is going to be coming from. Unless Kuminga turns into the second coming, I don't see anything happening. With the way that they have all the contracts lined up to expire when Curry's expires, preaches to the notion that they are no longer going to push this Curry narrative. This is over. They're not going to go for some big splash. They could go for a DeRozan. They even could go for MPJ, but what's the point? What's the point? MPJ is not going to be MPJ is a final piece to a championship team. And when you just lost your second reason for being a championship team and Jimmy Butler, there's no point in getting that final piece. It's the final piece of what, guys? Making the playoffs? Because I assure you, even adding Michael Porter Jr., he's not going to get the shots he was getting in Brooklyn. So unfortunately, I believe the Curry era is officially over. That's a fact. Now, Tev, you better. Let's move on to our next. Ladies and gentlemen, do you think this is a fact or cap? I want you to think hard. The Knicks will trade Karl by the deadline. The Knicks will trade Karl by the deadline. Reminder, the deadline is 16 days away. 16 days away. Think long and hard about this. Don't just answer to be quick. I'm seeing facts. I'm seeing caps. I'm glad that I see a variation in this. And after all that, oh my God. I'm going to go ahead and say cap. Thank you, Tutta. You nailed it right. This is why I love my Twitch chat, man. This is why I love my Twitch chat. You nailed it right in the bud, bro. You nailed it right in the bud. Who wants this contract? Who wants this? Who wants that? You owe him. Hold on. I gotta be for sure before I spread lies around here. You owe this man a lot. In fact, you owe him not just this year. You owe him $53 million this year. You owe him $57 million next year. And then he's got a player option for $61 million. Oh, gee, I wonder if he's going to take it. $61 million in the year 2028. I'll be honest, man. There's gambling and there's just straight up degeneracy. If a team gambles and trades for this player and you have to pay him $61 million in 2028, just go ahead and disown that franchise being a fan of them. There's no reason. I believe this is cap. I do not believe they're going to trade Karl Anthony Towns this deadline, possibly in the future. Possibly. I do. For an expiring contract, why not? My issue is, guys, you want my honest opinion about this whole thing? Mike Brown's going to get fired. This offseason, Leon Rose is going to get fired. And then they're going to start over and they're going to try to win with this roster. That's what's going to happen. They're going to fire Mike Brown. They're going to scapegoat him. Then they're going to fire Leon Rose, deserved. And then they're going to deal with the players. Something's going on in this locker room. Something's going on. This is not Mike Brown's fault. Mike Brown is a good coach. He's a good coach. And this is not going to ruin his reputation either. I think he might take a step back from coaching, but this is not the end of Mike Brown. They're going to scapegoat him. Something's happening in this locker room, and he's unfortunately going to pay the bill immediately. So no, I think that's cap, guys. I think that's cap. Let's go ahead. I also got to say this. I'm sorry. While we're still on the topic of the Knicks, guys, they're not just the second worst defense over the last month and a half. They're also bottom 5 offense over the last month and a half. So I got to regurgitate this one more time. It's not just their defense that is the worst in the league. Their offense is also one of the worst in the league. This is a team that was known for their offense. This is a team that actually tried on defense. They may not have good defenders, but they tried on defense. But the wingstop defenders look slow. They're not doing anything. Karl Anthony Towns doesn't try on defense. Jalen Brunson doesn't know what defense is. This is genuinely a team with negative identity. I've mentioned it 100 times. They have no identity. They have no identity whatsoever, y'all. They have failed to score 100 points in like 3 of their last 10 games or something. 3 of their last 5 games. I'd have to look. Regardless, after all that, you do have to look yourselves in the mirror. And yeah, you have to look. They are not scoring 100 points. This is not normal. Let's go ahead and move on to our final factor cap, ladies and gents. Lock in. Lock in. I need your help. Do you think this is a fact or cap? Think about this. Don't rush to say it. Now, I didn't say it in the lower third, but I'm going to say it now, okay? So pay attention to what I say now, what it says. Small ball is dead. Small ball being the main lineup in the NBA is dead. If you don't know what small ball is, that's Draymond Green being a center. That's Bam Adebayo being a center. That is these small centers, these small big men playing center. Think about it being a predominant lineup. Do you think a team in the NBA can win it all with being your main lineup being a small lineup? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. You guys have heard me talk about it a while, okay? VZN, Young Tev, my baby. Thank you so much. You're a Pistons fan, right? Welcome, bro. Welcome to the Twitch stream. We're very happy to have you in here. Make sure you join the Discord, brother. Exclamation point Discord in the chat. Join up right now. I need more Pistons fans in here. I'm seeing mostly facts, and I'm also seeing a couple caps. So let me talk about this real quick. Okay, guys? Small ball. Ladies and gents, this is why I don't freak out too much about the way the NBA is motioning towards. You know, right now they're jacking up. A lot of teams are jacking up threes. A lot of teams are jacking up threes. They're all just jacking up threes, right? Not all of them. Suns, the Lakers, the Celtics, the Warriors. Like, there's a lot of teams in the NBA right now that are still jacking up threes, right? But then you have a team right now that's leading the East in paint points in the Detroit Pistons. They're getting all their work done in the paint. If you could have one or two threats from three, it could work. But meanwhile, the Pistons are just pounding and pounding and pounding into the paint. What you're seeing right now is the NBA change. Because after what? People like saying that it was Draymond Green that initiated small ball. I'd like to say it was Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh was 6'10", playing center. Wasn't really like a defined big man. He was a stretch big man. He wasn't really going for dunks over and over again. He wasn't just an alley-oop guy. He was a guy that could spread the floor. And I think that's where small ball originated from, right? So it's been in the league now for about 15 years. And when you look at that, small ball has come to an end because now you need bigs. And I think part of the reason is the NBA is shifting back to this old school 80s, 90s. You have big men now that are running the show. You have Jokic, and then you have a whole different spectrum. You have Wemby, you have Gobert, you have Chet Holmgren, you have Jalen Duren. The NBA is going back to a geocentric meta of the NBA of the 80s and 90s, where it was all around the heliocentrism of centers. The game focuses on the centers now again, just like how it used to for a lot of teams, not all. And that's why the Pistons their best lineup is Isaiah Stewart and Jalen Duren. I'm sure you guys were listening to the commentary yesterday from the Peacock commentaries, even though they had Brian Scalabrine on the line and he kept referring to the Celtics as us and we. Okay, biases. Can we chill out here? Why'd you get Brian Scalabrine on the comms? He's literally saying us and we is the Celtics. This is supposed to be an unbiased commentary. So when you see that lineup of Stu and Duren, you're low-key looking into the future again, because these bigs right now are dominating today's NBA. How do you stop Wemby? You have a stocky big guy like a Julius Randle, like an Isaiah Stewart, hell, like a Jalen Duren at this point. He's stocky compared to Victor Wembanyama. The NBA is moving away from small ball, and you'll see some teams, they'll run small ball, but just for a short period. They'll just do it for a short period because their centers are in foul trouble or they just need to mix it up. And I'm really enjoying this. I love, bro, do you guys remember 10 years ago in the NBA? Who was the best center in the NBA 10 years ago? 2016, who was the best center in the NBA? I know you guys are thinking about it long and heavy. Who was the best center? Does anybody know? Who is arguably undisputed the best center in the NBA? DeMarcus Cousins? We're not calling Anthony Davis a center. He was a 4. We were deprived of good centers. You did not just say Andre Drummond. Joakim Noah? No, that's crazy. Marc Gasol? Sure, Marc Gasol. Why not? But I think it's DeMarcus Cousins. Greg Monroe. Okay, I'm done with this question. So that's my point. 10 years ago, we were deprived of good centers. And the center position is back, y'all. Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic, Chet Holmgren, Jalen Duren, Donovan Clingan. Hell, Quinton Poe. I'm kidding. Like, this is great NBA right now. Rudy Gobert, this is great NBA. The NBA is good when centers are good, man. So I think, yes, that is a fact. I think small ball is officially dead in the NBA. We're going back to big boys, man. And nothing I love more than seeing big boys bump into each. All right, let's move on about our all-star starters. In case you guys don't know, they announced the all-star starters from the Western Conference and the Eastern Conference last night. Now, there were a couple snubs. Let's talk about it. So we have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the West, Nikola Jokic in the West, Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, and Victor Wembanyama. So I'd say that is almost right. Except, holy shit, TikTok. They just like warned me that the stream is going to be ending because it's inactive. What the hell? I think we can all tell that Anthony Edwards was robbed, right? There's no reason that Anthony Edwards gets snubbed over Steph Curry. It's just like last year when Steph Curry got the second team All-NBA and Cade got third team. I'm sorry, Steph, I respect you. And LeBron, for the first time in, 21 years, is not an all-star starter, which is also crazy. He doesn't deserve it. He didn't deserve it last year either. Anthony Edwards should have been a starter. It should not have been Steph Curry. I'm a big Curry fan. I'm a big Ant fan. It should not have been Steph Curry. Anthony Edwards should have been a starter. It's absolutely asinine that he was not chosen. It's bullshit, to say it lightly. It's fully bullshit that Anthony Edwards did not get the starting spot. It sucks. As far as the Eastern Conference goes, we have Cade Cunningham leading the player vote. In case you guys didn't know that, Cade Cunningham was number 1 in player vote. So the entire league agreed that Cade deserves it most out of anybody in the East. Ain't that some shit? He led the player vote. Then you have Tyrese Maxey, earned it, deserved it. Giannis Antetokounmpo. And this is where you start losing me, okay? Jalen Brunson and Jaylen Brown. Now, both of those guys deserve it. Can I be honest, everybody? You had to swap either Giannis or Jalen Brunson out for Donovan Mitchell. Maybe Brunson because they're underperforming, but so are the Cavs. You can't leave Giannis out. He's the best player in the East, right? I'm low-key aggravated that Donovan Mitchell is not starting because of how crucial he is to their team. But Brunson, he got the votes. He deserves it. But I still feel for Donovan Mitchell. I still feel for him. For going stats-wise, he deserves it, but obviously the Cavs have been underperforming. If you switch the Knicks and the Cavs records, then Donovan Mitchell would have taken that spot from Jalen Brunson, 100%. 100%. But because Brunson has led their team to, where they're at now, Brunson deserves it. So Knicks fans, you're going home with something, man. Yeah. So those are the starters. If you guys are wondering when we find out the rest of the All-Stars, it will be February 1st, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's February 1st. We can do a podcast this week where I go ahead and nail the rest of my predictions down, but I don't think there's any point. I think we can all agree upon who those players are going to be. You're going to get Jalen Duren because the Pistons need 2 reps. So, you got JD, you got, you need a rep from all of those teams, right? So you would get Scotty Barnes from the Raptors. You would get, Magics don't get an all-star. You'll get Donovan Mitchell for the Cavs. I don't think you're getting a Heat. I don't think you're getting a Bulls. You're probably getting Jalen Johnson of the Hawks. Yeah. And you can go about it that way. And then as far as the West goes, you're going to get your You're going to get Anthony Edwards. He should have been in it. You're probably going to, Julius Randle deserves it, but I don't know if they're going to get 2 reps as a 4th seed. You're obviously going to get Durant. You're going to get LeBron. You're going to get Devin Booker. Jimmy Butler probably would have been one, but now he's not. They'll probably still get honored. And then you're obviously going to get Kawhi, James Harden. Yeah. So interesting. Very, very interesting. And that's what we got for today, y'all. That's what we got today. Somebody said, how do the Lakers get 2 reps, but not Minnesota? Big market, Johan. Big markets. That's how. Minnesota deserves 2 reps. But as do the Lakers. LeBron definitely is an all-star. LeBron is putting up crazy numbers, especially how old he is. He's putting up crazy numbers. Now, guys, that is going to do it for today's episode. Long one, man. Hour and 5 minutes. This is going to take forever to upload on YouTube and Spotify. So if you guys did miss any part of today's episode, which I know a lot of you guys tuned in too late, be sure, guys, to follow us on Spotify, on the YouTube channel. Do all that. TikTok, YouTube. We are ending those streams, but we are still live on Twitch. We're still live on Twitch. This guy Benji in the TikTok is saying, can you do another hour? Do another hour. If you want another hour, come to the Twitch stream, bro. We're still live on Twitch. Nobody go anywhere in the Twitch stream. All right. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. You guys know we do these episodes Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. Again, that's Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. TikTok, YouTube, now's the perfect time to leave that stream and come through to the Twitch stream because we're still live. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Link in my bio. Guys, I got nothing left to say for y'all. Except for we got some good NBA games tonight, man. So be sure to tune in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching/listening. I'll catch you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. Love y'all, man.